technical skills. So this happened that many questions about the technology I was not able to answer. But what they discussed was they tried to give me some logic building questioning like puzzles and eventually some questions about how to get a solution, right? So because I was using the technology and trying to figure out solutions, that helped me in logic building. And eventually I was able to give answers to that, and they can see that this guy is able to build the logic, though he's not aware of the technology, but he's able to build the logic over it. Okay, so that really helped. And last 1 year I interviews in my company. So over there also the two sets which are given to us to identify or judge a candidate about his expertise is, firstly is technical knowledge, and second one is logic building skills. Okay, and if someone gives his excellent input in logic building and is weak in technical knowledge, then also those candidates are taken and are given the job, because you know technology can be learned. Okay, in the corporate there are many sessions where you learn and learn new technology and understand, because ideally technology is just a tool. It is not a complete solution. It is a tool to solve problems. Okay, so when any requirement on any product is being developed, in 5 to 6 days you can get to know the technology and understand a bit of it. Okay, but logic about it takes a time and real practice about it. So once you have that now, I don't think so it will make any barrier or less technical knowledge will impact once you have a good logic building skill. So I really think that every one of you should be trying to solve problems on internet and try to build your logic, because that is what helps eventually. Okay, and the last one, the HR round. Okay, this is just a confidence testing round. How much you know yourself and how you can how confidently you answer the questions. Okay, they try to give trick questions, try to ask you hobbies, and which is not relevant actually. What is relevant is how confidently you put your point forward, how confidently you are answering. Okay, so this is a long periods practice for confidence, I believe. Right now what I'm doing is also a confidence building for myself, right? I'm giving a session to a students group of students, and this is eventually helping me build my public speaking, right? So this is also a kind of confidence building practice. And as I said, this will be an interactive session, right? So as Manjushri was able to put her point forward and give her experience, this will eventually help her build confidence. And whenever such things happen, like every drop of it will help you build the seed, right? So I really feel that you should be raising questions, putting the eye on yourself in class or wherever you feel many people are there. You must put your point forward. This will help you build confidence. And then HR round will be like a piece of cake for you, because nothing else is expected out of you in that round. Okay, so any questions you have regarding this, you can put it in the chat. Anyone? Okay, no, I guess everyone is fine with this kind of knowledge. No
Himank,
questions about this.
Can
Yes.
you please turn on your camera? It will be good, so students also can see you.
Okay. Yeah. Sure. Okay.
Yeah.
Am I visible? Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. Okay, great. So this was about the interviews. Next, I will be speaking about there is a gap between syllabus and corporate standards. Okay, which makes it difficult for students to understand what corporate is expecting, right? This gap is because corporate standards of building a code or a app development is quite different. right? They see the reusability, they see the coding quality. Okay, they see that this piece of code which we are using should be able to use after 10 years also. So that is how they see the product. And what we in our syllabus understand is just the basics of how a code can run, how we can use it, right? So there is this gap is there, which we can eventually remove by trying to build applications. If anyone is interested in IT industry, I'll really recommend you to try to build applications. Okay, a simple Spring Boot application, or a Java code which can solve any problem of yours. Okay, like simple reading CSV file, reading Excel file, or connecting with a database and trying to read data from it. Even a standalone application which can do a simple task will help you understand the whole product flow of an application. Okay. Also, there are many coding qualities which are expected out of employees. Okay, this is not expected out of fresher, but when you are in a corporate industry, you will understand that knowing the code and then building a quality product. Okay, so even 6 years or 7 years students are right now coding, right? We have seen advertisement about that, and we are seeing that they can build code, right? But that cannot be used in the corporate. Why it can't be used in the corporate is because the quality is very different, right? You know how to code, but you don't know to build a quality code. That is what you are going to learn in the corporate, and eventually that will help you get a good image and get promotions. Okay, so that is something that you should work on. I'll give you some coding principles which can help you to build your coding qualities. One is the solid principles, which you can just Google it and you will understand. I have actually used it really well and used it over every code of mine, and it really helps you because it's not that tough, and it will improve your code quality to a very good level, I will say. Okay, and that's all actually, I think so. Solid principles, if you try to Google and understand, it will help you a lot in your coding qualities. Okay, and next one will be yeah, so code reviews. And this happens in corporate, that once you build a code, your senior will see your code and understand the flaws of it. Because as we are freshers, everyone knows that we are not qualified to build production going code, right? So code reviews happen, and because of that you get ratings, or they understand how good a quality you can build. So you must be aware. That's why I said you must be aware of coding qualities, so that after you get a job, it will help you a lot in it, right? Uh, so suggestion from my end would be to practice coding on HackerRank or GitHub also, where you get issues mentioned and you can solve the problem. So this will help you a lot in logic building as well as your coding qualities. Okay. There are some of my colleagues I helped. Actually, my friends were there, and they were not getting jobs, and were trying to figure out a way to get past it. And I took some sessions with them, some training sessions, and the code quality principles I taught them, and that eventually helped a lot for them to build a good quality code. So if you need any assistance in this, you can contact me. My email ID and phone numbers are shared with the coordinators over here. Okay. So any questions in this topic about expectations of corporate and freshers? Okay, yeah, Manjushri has a question. Can you guide more of building in logic in a short time for competitive coding question? As in various coding rounds, especially the time constraint. Okay, so the time constraint, I can tell you, you need to understand the complexity of the code, right? When anyone who is checking your code, firstly they will verify that you are giving the expected output or not, right? Another one is how complex is your code, right? How much loops you are using, how much conditioning you are using. Eventually, if you use less conditioning and loops, it will help you understand, it will give you output really fast. So the when I can give you an example of for loop. You all must be aware of for loops, right? The complexity increases by n square on loop, right? So whenever you are coding or tool of Java or any language that you are using, you must be aware of the complexity of that function, right? For loop gives you n square, right? Similarly, if any other list function that you are using, they also give you complexity. So once you are using it, try to Google it and understand what kind of complexity that inserts in your code. So that will really help you build less time consuming code. Okay, and optimizing. Okay, I can give you some examples about optimizing. You can use less strings. You can try to make your functions task specific. Okay, this will really help. Okay, suppose you have a task of adding two numbers, right? So just build a function that can add two functions and two strings. Then you can override it and use a function to add two integers, and such overriding and building different functions will give you a good coding quality. Algorithms playing in code and okay, data structures and algorithm. Okay, uh, let me tell you that data structures and algorithms just help you build the logic. Okay, you it is not necessary, it can be applied on any technology, right? Database, you can use it in Java also. Okay, so what it eventually gives you is like a process of solving a problem. Algorithms are that only. It gives you a process of solving a problem. So as I said, logic building is the key. This is exactly the point, right? Data structures and algorithms are providing you a logic, and it actually you can define any problem solving as an algorithm, right? You are building a code to identify that how many employees are getting salary than more than 50,000, right? So that is also dissecting, finding the employees, finding their salaries, dissecting employees who have more than 50,000 salaries. So this is all becomes an algorithm. Okay, so I believe that it plays a very important role, data structures and algorithm, and logic building is exactly what it is. Okay, what you can learn, how you can learn it. I'll say, as I said, you can practice coding on competitive exams, where you can understand how to build logic. You will fail, actually. I honestly say many of times you will fail, but eventually you will learn how to build logic in a quick amount of time. Okay. Okay, another one is what are the expectations from a fresher who is willing to become a web developer? Okay, web developers ideally should be aware of the UI UX. Must be very good in HTML because there are very nuances in UI which you must be aware of. Building the CSS of a file or implementing, reusing the code is also a very important aspect of it, because there are multiple forms, there are multiple sections of UI which can be reused. And if you build a reusable code, you will understand the independence of each block. Okay, so what is expected is you must be very good at HTML, and also one of the JavaScript or Angular or PHP, whatever you prefer, but you must have good amount of knowledge of that language and expertise in HTML. HTML is the must. Okay, you must be very good at building CSS of a page. Uh, Next one is, can you tell us the opportunities in testing domain? Okay, yeah, testing domain is actually you can firstly, you will obviously become a tester. You will be testing applications on a manual basis. Once you get an upgrade and you learn that, you will try to understand automation testing, which is kind of building a code to test an application. Okay, there are also AppSec testing, application security testing, which has a good scope and you can say a good salary also. So where you will be testing the integration of the application, how a hacker can your application, try to penetrate into the application and find data into it. You have to cover all that scenarios. So if you try and understand how applications are breached, it will really help you in testing domain, and there's a good scope in that. Any more questions? Okay. Okay, so I'll be moving forward. Uh, Another one is scope and roles of IT ecosystem, right? Uh, what we see is just a developer as a role, and we aim for that, right? But let me define some of the roles that are being used in the corporate system, and how an application is built, the whole process of it. We all must be aware of software development life cycle, right? SDLC. If anyone is studying IT or trying to understand IT domain, you must have come across this term SDLC, right? So the corporate software development lifecycle is different, is actually evolved, and I will explain it to you step by step. So firstly, I'll explain the roles that are being used. You can be a developer. Another one is the tester, who will test the code of the developer, try to breach, as I said, the testing scenario, the scenarios that the developer has thought, and try to find loopholes in the code. If you are interested in finding faults of some code, this is the role for you, tester, because they must really have that kind of passion to identify loopholes in a already built system. This will help in being a tester. Another one, which will be later stage, I will say team lead, which are helping the team to achieve the goal. Next role will be business analyst. Okay, I was not aware of these roles, but as I went through the corporate structure, I understood that every role has is responsibility, and they are providing some input in the whole app development. Okay, so the developer delayed a task, they are not going, client is not going to ask the developer, they are going to ask delivery owners to give the answers of why there is a delay and why the application is not built yet. So this is also a role which can be acquired by engineers. Another one is production support, right? This one is about if you are really interested in analyzing situation or troubleshooting something, this is your role. Okay, production support will help you build your analyzing skills, also trying to troubleshoot different scenarios where actually users are facing problem. They will come to you, you have to troubleshoot it, identify the issue, and resolve it. Okay, so your debugging skills must be good for this, and your troubleshooting skills must also be good. So this is for people who are good at debugging. This will help them. Okay, another one is database administrator, or you can say database support also. For the starting stage is database support. So if you're good with queries and database and SQL or Oracle queries, then you can go in this direction of handling queries, and eventually target for becoming a data administrator, database administrator. Okay, there's a question from Himanshu Soni of how to make transition from electronics to IT. Okay,